6 months into our terms, it has been an amazing time in Kansas City. As has already been mentioned, and as you've already noticed, we were able to bring a Super Bowl in the first 6 months here in council. Imagine what we can do over 3.5 years. It's as if we'll guarantee a championship all the time. As we've all seen and witnessed, Kansas City has much to celebrate. Winners on the field, outstanding neighborhoods, continuing population growth, particularly north of the river. But we all know and recognize that there are challenges for us too. To build a more equitable city, to deliver on the basic services that we promise to our residents and that our residents deserve, and to make Kansas City a safer place to live and an easier place to get around. Part of building that equitable city includes ensuring that we have a city where our infrastructure doesn't lead to blown out car tires or damaged hubcaps or injuries to cyclists that may cost hundreds or thousands or cause injuries that may take someone off work. This year's budget will include an increase in our street resurfacing fund to $17 million, a 70% increase from the funding level 2 years ago for street resurfacing, where we need to recognize that economic development isn't just about tax-abated luxury development. It isn't just about a new office building. Economic development has to be about supporting long-standing local businesses. It has to be about neighborhood development in every community. It has to relate to excitement to see new businesses, new projects, new developments on streets like Blue Ridge, Independence Avenue, and North Oak. And that's why that in this year and the years that follow, you'll see significant change in how we do economic development. This year's budget will have a significant reduction in resources given to the Economic Development Corporation of Kansas City. And that's not meant to be punitive. That's not to in any way say that we don't believe in economic development, but what it's saying is that we need to right-size how we do development. Over the past several weeks, I've had the fortune of meeting with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in Washington and Kansas City. And as a result of that, we were able to secure $13.9 million in regional funding for local programs serving the homeless. Because, my friends, when we think about economic development, it isn't just a strip mall. It isn't just a 3-story building somewhere. It's about providing new affordable housing for families. It's about providing jobs for people in our neighborhoods. And it's about providing funds to help support rehabilitation of our significant single-family housing stock in Kansas City, which importantly, we cannot forget. New multifamily housing is something that we see all the time. But I know I went to Detroit earlier this fall, and what I don't want to see in Kansas City is us building more and more rows of vacancies, of seeing abandoned neighborhoods, of seeing abandoned resources, of seeing abandoned communities. It's up to us to make sure that when we talk about housing, we're talking about rehabilitation, we're talking about maintaining our neighborhoods, and we're doing that in every part of Kansas City. If we commit to things like zero fare transit, if we commit to things like good, responsible housing policy, we're not just changing Kansas City, we're changing our region, we're changing our country, and we're looking out and taking care of people. And that's why our move to zero fare transit has received national attention, and that's why it's so important. And I believe what you will see in this year's city budget is our most equitable budget that this city has seen in a generation. As the state of Missouri has legalized medical marijuana, as our city voted some years ago to at least try to decriminalize possession of marijuana by a 3-to-1 margin, why don't we actually try to make some substantial policy change that we can along the way? That's why next week my office will begin our process of pardoning possibly thousands of misdemeanor marijuana convictions. Nothing matters if we lose another 148 of our sisters and brothers next year. That's why we can never stop caring about kids, parents, and people who deserve a chance to grow old in our community. That's why this year we propose a few things that you would expect in a budget and a few things you may not. We increase the number of police officers once more. We increase pay for our tenured officers at topped-out levels because we have to stay competitive with other jurisdictions and account for the important work that they do. But we also importantly recognize that more boots on the ground alone will not solve our violent crime problems. We invest this year in more social worker positions, but we also invest in more probation officers so that convicted domestic abusers can't keep firearms to terrorize or in too many cases to murder their intimate partners. The budget tomorrow, you'll see, will have lots to it. There are things that we can debate, but I hope one thing that we'll see is that it's a budget that cares about equity in our community. And it's only a beginning of the work that we have to do to build a Kansas City, not just for some neighborhoods, but for all of us.